Ultimately, all the business case needs to stem from the users of the system. Value cannot come from the VC. Value can only come from people who use the VC. So the business case has to be about who is willing to pay for these services. We've talked just now about end users. If it's solving my problems, I am willing to pay for it. I'm willing to pay for convenience, because convenience is, in my mind, I associate with time and with money. If I don't have to travel far away to do a deposit, to make a payment, because I can now do it conveniently at the corner shop, I'm willing to pay for that service. If I have this tool that not only allows me to save, but allows me to think about my money and to exercise that discipline that I know I need, I'm willing to pay for that tool. So that's where the starting point should be, which is the willingness to pay of people. And at the base of the pyramid, willingness to pay is high only if you solve my real problems. That's not to say that poor people are the only users in this system. Government should be a big user of this system, and that's a well-known story in India. Every government program that is assisting the poor should be channeled through these systems. That again creates willingness to pay by a different kind of user that is government. So it's all about generating the interest in doing transactions, the interest in holding the value electronically, that creates the business case. Then the question becomes, once you've created that value, how is it spread across the different players in the value chain? And that's a matter of negotiation between the players. Right now, the banks are not seeing much of a business case, and so they're not sharing a lot of the revenues with BCs and with the technology players. But that's simply because the pie is not very big. There's not a lot of money to distribute. So the collective priority should be to identify those people who we are really going to help, be it the government, be it poor people, be it larger companies like distributors of products that see enormous amount of value of getting cash out of the distribution chain. So their trucks don't have to be carrying cash. So that their trucks don't go to a store to do a delivery and then the store says, oh, I'm sorry, I have no cash, and the truck has to go back to base with the goods without having done the sale. All of that makes a lot of business sense. So it's all about finding those sources of value. At the end of the day, for the business correspondent, the business case results can be reduced to how many transactions they do. Because in general, they will make a certain amount of commission per transaction. The calculation for the store is fairly simple. How many transactions did I do today? What is my margin per transaction? Those two, the product of those two, need to add up to something that makes sense to me. Certainly, it has to be at least one daily salary for the clerk. Anything more is great. But if I have to manage all the liquidity for the community, I'm handling all the cash risk. I need to go to the branch, and I only make 100 rupees, 200 rupees a day. I'm not likely to want to do that. Or I might do that, but only on days when I know there's a lot of volume because it happens to be the Enrega payment day. But that's not creating a good customer experience. Good customer experience is where I'm having transactions every day, I'm making money every day. I want to increase the perception that my customers have that I'm always there when they need liquidity. So it's that reliability day in, day out, which is a competitive basis for the business correspondent. But I'll only play that game if I think I'm going to be adequately rewarded for it. So from the BC point of view, it really reduces down to how many transactions are they doing per day, day in, day out. So again, there's two ways to make this work. And one is you need to build this quickly. There is no slow incremental path, because as a bank, you might want to go very slowly. As a store, I will have lost interest. I will say, okay, come back to me 5 years from now when you are ready to do it big. So we need to go for scale quickly is the first thing. And of course, the second thing associated with that is to go quickly, we need to be delivering value, very clear value to the end users, those who are going to be using the system. The poor people, because now it's a great way for me to plan my money, great way to save it, great way to pay and to receive money. All the business users, the distributors and so on, who now have a much more effective way to run their business. For the government, who can now distribute benefits so much more cost effectively and in a timely basis.